Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to the week. Holy moly, did you feel that? Wait for it. Wait for it. It's Gemini season. Oh man, is that a shift? It's like we're in the paradigm of the tortoise and the hare, and we were tortoising out hard. Taurus likes it slow. Taurus likes it easy. Taurus needs to integrate. Taurus just needs the time to engage the senses, to engage the deeper parts of ourselves. And now we're saying adios to that and coming into the hare season, the season where everything is going to move fast. We are going to have so much more energy. We're going to have so much more things to do. I mean, it is the end of the school year season. So to those of us who have kids or are in school, there's always things to wrap up. There's always things to do. There's parties to go to, graduations to attend. So Gemini season falls always at just the right time for itself. But it begs the question, what needs communicated? Let's talk about Gemini a little bit. Gemini rules the third house of the mind. It's ruled by the planet Mercury. It's about our thoughts. It's about our thought patterns. It's about our thought habits and how we turn what we're thinking into what we're saying. And, you hear it said often, actions speak louder than words. And that's true, but words are a Gemini's best friend. So this season, it's more going to be like, what are you saying? Why are you saying it? And what needs to be said? It's a great time to communicate needs, wants, wishes. It's a beautiful time to manifest more outwardly than inward. It's been a real time, you guys. There's been a long arch of underlying things that we've had to work out, of dream seeds that we've needed to plant, of lifestyles that we've needed to shift. And Gemini season is like, okay, so how are we applying this? Okay, so what's next? Okay, so how are we going to make it happen? And I love that energy for us because it feels as though there's been a lot of stop and go. There's been a lot of pain. There's been a lot of change. There's been a lot to process. And I'm hoping that Gemini is going to give us the words. We had a beautiful Cazimi over the weekend with Jupiter, and I hope that you felt that. I hope the sunshine on your face felt lovely and the hope was there. And now we're going to have another really great transit with Jupiter because it's going to be conjunct Venus on Wednesday. At the same time, there's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius on Wednesday. So the energy's getting spicy, you guys. The Jupiter-Venus conjunction is really lovely because in Gemini, moving into this Gemini season, it's, as I said, what are we going to be communicating? What are we going to be talking about? And Venus and Jupiter is about love and right timing. So connections and wherever all this falls in your chart, like where is Gemini in your chart? That's what's going to be super on fuego this season. And, I think full moons are always a little dice. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what's going to be revealed. You never know how you're going to act. And in Sagittarius, that vibe is kind of a foot and mouth vibe. So you never know what's going to get said particularly. What I love about it, though, why it's one of my favorite full moons of the year, is that Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And here is this Jupiter-Venus conjunction where those two planets are holding hands in the sky and loving on each other in this beautiful righteous full moon in Sag, which is ruled by Jupiter. So there's this double luck and right timing is what I think. It's the perfect time to decide it's the perfect time. And it's not just about dream seeds. It's about right action. So I think we all have these maybe secret, maybe not so secret, dreams that we hold in our heart. These ways in which we so want to evolve. The circumstances just aren't right, or this isn't the right moment, or we, don't bring forth the tools to make it happen. And I love this season for us because it's saying what you can dream, you can put into process. But it's, as I said, a process. And rather than dragging our feet, it's what is the right action right now? The luck and right timing of it all. How can I, with my voice, change my current state of being? It's an interesting thing because there is a part of our neuroscience where if we're doing the same thing every single day, same job, same time, same drive home, same dinner, same wake up, same coffee, same cream, then we kind of become the past version of ourselves embodied in the current reality. And it can start to stagnate. And I think the Gemini season comes around and asks us, how do you want to go forward? And how do you want to use your voice, to use your mind as a powerful tool for cosmic change? Okay, it doesn't have to be cosmic. You don't want it to be cosmic. It doesn't have to be. Just change. You know, it's so interesting how attached we get to our daily life and ritual. And listen, routine is great, especially for kids. Routine has its place in time. But what summer asks of us, what Gemini season asks of us, what full moons ask of us is what happens when the day doesn't play out as the day before or as the Wednesday previous, even though you're in a current Wednesday. You know, it's Monday, but you know what I'm saying? It's like if you could think of, oh my gosh, well, I go to this fitness class every Tuesday at 6. What can your body do and evolve into if you change it up a little bit? What happens if you go Monday nights? It's about getting experimental because a Sagittarius full moon asks, where do I need to grow? What are the belief systems that I need to shift? What have I been believing all along that hasn't been true? I mean, I've always thought it was the Berenstain Bears, and here we are in another dimension where it's called the Berenstain Bears. And listen, this is a very small paradox, right? But times that, times 10. What if, as a child, there was something you always believed to be true? And then, as a grown-ass adult, you learn that that is in fact not true. And you've been living all these years thinking something was true when it wasn't. This is the human experience. You guys, this is what we're here to learn, shift, grow, is that when you think about it, we're all coming from different upbringings, all coming from different belief systems, all coming from different scenarios. And to assume that you are the rightest person is a fallacy. Because the truth is, there is no ultimate truth, because the truth is what we live. You know, that feeling of if you say you're a thing and people believe you're that thing, then whether you're that thing or not, intrinsically, you are that thing because you are perpetuating it with your thought cycle, with your movements and actions and belief systems. It's interesting how cults can get really popular. Or just people can buy into it because we all, and this is so Sag full moon because it's all about philosophy, religion, all of that stuff, like the search. And people tend to get embedded in a cult when they are vulnerable, when they are in an open state of mind of wanting to believe something new. And let me tell you, this is a great place to be in. Wanting to believe in something new is great, but making yourself vulnerable enough where you're willing to say that this person's right and I must be wrong is an interesting paradigm to get yourself in. Because the truth is, nobody is necessarily wrong. There's so much hardship going on in the world and war and cruelty and all of those things. And as someone who is deeply affected by the pain of the world, there are days where I have to sit with my own Libran self and say, this is true, but also that is true. And sitting in the in-between world of wanting to be the change I wish to see in the world is the best that I can do and the best you can do to create a fundamentally richer future for yourself and for this intense world that we live in. Because truly, we get lost somewhere in our belief systems. We get lost somewhere when we choose to stay stuck. And we certainly get lost when we choose to stay in a paradigm or a world that we have created that is not serving us. So Gemini season with a Sag full moon this week asks, what if I was completely wrong? What if there was no fill in the blank? What if I am not fill in the blank? Because there are ways in which we define ourselves. Some of my favorite things about myself is that I'm loyal, is that I'm stable, is that I'm peaceful. But what if none of those things were true? What if I am only that way because I believe I'm that way and create this reality of being that way? And then there's negatives that come with that too, you know? And so it's like throwing up even the things we love so much about ourselves, throwing them up in the air and questioning, well, why am I so loyal? Why am I so stable? Why? Because there's room to grow even in the things that we love the most about ourselves, just like there's room to hold compassion and stick with something we don't like about ourselves. I mean, what if something you don't like about yourself, that I'm really insecure? I'm just going to throw that out into the cosmos. This thing that I don't like about myself is the thing that drives me too, though. This insecurity that I have, this imposter syndrome that creeps in as I'm doing these podcasts sometimes, is the thing that also lights my fire. It is also the thing that makes me work harder to be better. So I just kind of switched all of that on its head, right? What if my loyalty and dependability was the thing that hurt me in my past relationships because people took advantage of me? And what if my insecurity is the thing that drives me and is the thing that's going to make me the most successful? Wow. I feel like I'm inside out now when I think about that concept. But we have to Alice in Wonderland this, you guys. We have to be able to get into a Cheshire cat state of mind and be able to say the direction is this way, it's that way, but it's also upside down and up 5 streets. You know, there is no true answer about who you think you are that has to be the truth or that is the truth. There's positives and weaknesses, but also our weaknesses can be our positives. And what if we turned ourselves upside down that way and just allowed existence? Well, that's going to be hard to do this week because Sagittarius wants a philosophy and Gemini wants the voice to say it. Gemini season is amazing because they are our teachers. They are our great thinkers. They are quick on their feet. A Gemini has the twins, right? So there's Jekyll and Hyde. There's black, there's white, there's peace, there's war. And to me, this season is about understanding why there's both and understanding the necessity for both. That even in our darkest moments, we feel our most alive. And even in our most joyful moments, we can feel the impending doom. You know, there's room for everything. And to cut out the sour bits and only have the sweet bits, well, we would get quite large off only the sweet. You know, our palate needs all the senses. Our Ayurvedic selves need to be experiencing the sweet, the sour, the pungent, all of it, in order to understand ourselves more fully. So I am asking you this week to maybe think about it different, to maybe communicate different. Are you having a hard time in any of your relationships, be it with your children, your siblings, your parents, your spouses, your friends? What if you flipped your own paradigm on its head and came from a place of trying to understand the other side, of trying to emotionally connect to the things that bring you shame, to the things that make you feel unlovable? And if you can find that in yourself, how can you find that in someone that you're living with or dealing with on a regular basis or a coworker? It's all about, what if we changed our communication tactics? What if we spoke differently? What if we could find a new way, or just a way, if you're not a good communicator, to communicate? Because that's so much what Gemini needs. Gemini will turn in there. To me, the candy that goes with Gemini is like Sour Patch Kids. Sweet, but also sour. You know, it's like, I want to go right, but I'm actually going left. And I think the reason why Gemini gets such a bad rap in astrology, why we make fun of it so much, is because it is unknowable. The thing about dating a Gemini, being friends with a Gemini, is you're not going to be able to control that person, because that person can slither right out of a concept lickety split. You think that person is this? Well, guess what? They're going to show you that. And to me, I am so here for that energy. I think it's interesting. I think it keeps all of us on our toes. I think it's when I think of the boiled down high road version of Gemini, it's being lithe of thought and spirit. It's being open and flexible. And imagine your brain, like close your eyes and just imagine your brain right now and taking a deep breath and giving it oxygen and saying anything. It doesn't always have to be no. It doesn't always have to be, well, that person never. It doesn't have to be, well, I'm stuck in my job. Gemini asks us to redefine ourselves constantly. Gemini asks us to communicate irresponsibly. Like, say what you need to say, especially with Sagittarius full moon bringing up their ears, because a Sag is a truth speaker, a truth seeker, a truth needer. They need it. They need the truth. And so they're going to say it, they're going to feel it, they're going to do it. And listen, that doesn't always work out so well in our favor. So, dicey full moon in the sense of this is the kind of energy where someone can't tell you, you kind of have to experience the lesson to get the lesson. You can't just hear that that surface is hot. You kind of have to touch it and feel that it's hot. That's summer anyway. That's Gemini too. Gemini wants to understand. And that is the high road special thing about Gemini, is that truly they seek to understand not only themselves, but any other thing that could be interesting, which is why they're hard to define as people. You can't just put baby in a corner, okay? Gemini babies don't want to be in a corner. You can't define them, and you can't depend on them to show up in the same way that they were there for you yesterday. So that's the Gemini person. How do we embody Gemini spirit in a healthy, high road way this week with Sagittarius coming in wanting to speak its truth too? It's one word, and it's a very important word, and it's one of my favorite words. It is curiosity. You just have to stay curious. Why did I say that? Why did I accidentally tell that person this? It's the why. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why was I feeling that way? And here's the shift. Why did they do that? But not from like a, why did they do that to me? More of like a, why did they do that to me? It's inflection, right? It's putting a different spin on the same question. That's Gemini's spirit. It's putting a different definition to something that you've always defined a certain type of way. It doesn't have to be a certain type of way, you guys. You can change your day-to-day reality. It starts with you. It starts with the curiosity. It starts with, I wonder why I do that. What is something you do that is like, why do I do that? Why do we go the same way home every single day? Why can't we take a different road? Why do we get the same groceries at the grocery store? Why can't we get something new? So my invitation to you this week is to ask yourself these questions constantly, and especially over the little things. Start little. You don't have to make huge life changes. I'm not asking you to wreck the joint. I'm asking you to come in and gently lift the covers of your life and say, what sheets need changing? You know, what can I look at differently? And why is it so hard for me to shift this, that, or the other? To me, when we start asking ourselves these important questions, but high road Gemini is neutrality. That's the key. You can't do this with a skin in the game. You can't do this with a dog in the hunt. You can't do this exercise if you are righteously attached to outcome. You have to be neutral. You have to genuinely be curious. Sag and Gemini love curiosity. They're two sides of the same coin that way. And Gemini is more the teacher, the vocalizer, and Sag is more the philosophizer and integrator. So you have these two energies that are opposing, actually, though I would argue that Gemini and Sag are the most similar of the opposing signs. But you have opposing energy of, I just need to sit and think about this, and I just need to integrate it in my body. And then you've got Gemini saying, no, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about it. You need to say it. You need to say the thing. And I lie in the middle road of talk about it, think about it, integrate it, and be it all the time. I love this. The card I pulled is Observer. Yes, the observer is what I call neutrality. Turning on the neutral observer of your life. What if your life was a movie or a book or a story that you had zero attachment to how it ended, and you were just excited to see how it was playing out? You're just excited to sit here reading each chapter as it unfolds in its own right timing. How can you become the observer of your life. A Sag full moon says, hell yeah. And a Gemini sun says, let's go. I'm curious. What is it about my life that has created the version of myself that I am currently living? And let's say that you are just a version of yourself today, and that any day you want, you can be another version of yourself and another version of yourself. If you had that kind of freedom, what would you do with it? Again, why we give Gemini such a bad rap, because they do that, and then we judge them for it, because we stick as humans often with what's safe. We stay with what feels natural to us. But I would argue, my friends, that it is in doing what feels against the grain, what feels unnatural, as Robert Frost says, the road less traveled, that gives us the most information about ourselves, that allows for the most growth. And that, you guys, after this big Uranian energy that was asking us to change, that is the reward of when we change, is that we become a more neutral observer of our surroundings and our inner world. When we can just observe without attachment to how it needs to end up, that's when the right changes come. The luck and right timing I'm talking about with the Jupiter and Venus in the sky. The love that is all around us. The love that is inside of us. The love that we think about every day is ripe. It's here for the taking. We just have to be willing to sit and take a deep breath and open our minds a little bit. I hope you take that advice. I hope you can open your mind and see a different paradigm for yourself and for everybody else around you. Because when you can see yourself from a neutral standpoint, that's when the real juice, the work, and the shift happens that brings in the good shit. I hope you have a beautiful week. Please like, subscribe, heart, comment. The more interaction I get, the easier it is to keep creating content and to keep putting my stuff out there. I so appreciate all of your support. If you want to know where this full moon is falling in your chart, message me and I got you. Until next week, guys.